Hello everyone, welcome back to Late Night Trek, and we are doing it. We are finally doing it.
Yes.
We're taking the dive, and we're going to do Encounter at Farpoint Parts 1 and 2.
Season 1, Episode 1.
So, we're going to get into it, but if you want to watch along, please put your timestamp to 0 and press play now.
We're back to the beginning.
So no cold open.
Yeah, very strange.
Straight in. Now, what I can mostly say about this is thank God that I didn't first see this when it first came on.
Or the episode after that, to be fair.
Or any of the whole season 1 or 2. I mean, I think the first Star Trek I really paid attention to, I can't even remember. I don't think I even know what episode of TNG it was, but it was definitely an episode of TNG. I found recently an essay fiction homework that I'd been assigned to write for my homework for school. I must have been about 7 or 8 years old, and it was, who is your favorite? It was like, who are your favorite fiction characters or something like that? What's your favorite kind of story? And I think it was Captain Picard.
Aww.
And I had to ask my dad how Captain Picard is spelled. And elsewhere, I think I had already also written like a TNG fanfic. Again,
Cute.
when I found it. It's somewhere.
Cute.
Yeah, so something about TNG very much connected with me, but by the time I was really aware of it, that would have been 93-4, which was kind of toward the end.
Yeah.
So that was like season 6, 7. So most of the ones I remember watching were from season 6 and 7.
Well, there's a reason why they generally say if you want to introduce someone to Star Trek, specifically TNG, start with season 3.
Mm-hmm.
They can go back if they want, but you gotta start at 3.
Yeah.
Oh, there's gonna be so much to say.
So, let's catch the boys and girls up on basically where Star Trek was at this point.
That's all you.
Okay, so, well, this was commissioned basically off the success of Voyage Home.
Yes.
So Voyage Home was the most popular. It was the highest grossing Star Trek movie ever. Mm-hmm. Still is, I think, adjusted for inflation.
I will say that is a beautiful
it's
shot
lovely,
to start with.
Yep. Showing us the new Enterprise, and here's how we're introducing the new captain.
That is a nice shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame.
Nice way to introduce him.
It's a shame because it's going to be interesting.
Oh, shaky camera. Oops.
Yep. Oh, I thought the ship was being shot at for a second.
Yep.
Oh, no.
No, it was just... It's just... Well, they didn't really have steady cams yet, did they?
It's nice of them to black out the female crew member we were looking straight up the skirt of.
First time seeing the bridge. Oh, and they have those amazing old seats that just look like recliners. It's a lazy boy.
Oh, God, I would fall asleep in that.
I know, right? They just look like they're in bed.
Worf's in red.
I think the actors probably didn't appreciate it because it means you're getting the double chin doing this all day.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
So yeah, this was also Gene Roddenberry's first Star Trek thing where he had complete control over it. Probably since TOS.
Yes.
And motion picture.
So we're off the back of the success of Voyage Home.
Yes, Voyage Home was very popular, and they commissioned this on the basis of it. At the same time, the original series movies were carrying on being made. In fact, I think around this time was when they went into production for Star Trek V. Because quite a bit... There's quite a bit of association between the movies and the props and costumes and things built for the movies and things that were used on TNG and then later Voyager, etc. So something's up with... Ooh, dear. Oh, my.
I like that attempt to immediately establish what Troy does.
Right.
And make her seem immediately invaluable.
Yeah, but we also had a bit of an upskirt there.
Oh. Well, I like the attempt to make her immediately invaluable when she very quickly becomes...
It doesn't give him a lot of time to get away from whatever this thing is.
Yes, well, also... I feel like they were setting her up as the general advisor to the captain, which is not how she stayed.
No. I mean, I suppose she is... Until, she is an advisor, but she, her role is a bit different. Yes. It feels different.
Why does Yar get trousers?
Unknown. Maybe she didn't screen test well in trousers. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
In a long t-shirt. What you're looking for is a long t-shirt.
Right. So, the other thing that's going on in this is that this was a slightly troubled or back to front production. The first episode. Mm-hmm. This stuff with Q was all added. This was originally supposed to be a 1 hour pilot, or as they call it, which was just the stuff with the encounter at Farpoint. It was then rewritten, and Q was added in.
I will say, putting Q in, especially in this dress, in a first episode, is both gutsy and a bit confusing. I don't think that was a great decision. As much as I adore Q, everyone knows I adore Q, I don't think that was a fantastic decision. Because
he's also much more antagonistic in this. In the later ones, he's just goofing around with them all the time.
Yeah.
Like, look, he freezes this dude.
Yeah, he's definitely more of a villain. He's initially a villain. But the other thing is, the whole thing with Q is that he's so out of the ordinary. But you can't do out of the ordinary before you've established the ordinary.
Yeah.
We don't know how unusual this is.
Yeah, we're just jumping straight into it. And why is he speaking, wouldst thou and carest...
Thou.
Thou shalt most certainly die.
Yeah, he's a much... I don't love... This is low on my Q list.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this doesn't really count as a proper Q episode, I think.
Well, you said it yourself. He's very much an antagonist. He's a villain. As I've said before, my favorite thing about Q is that he's chaotic neutral. Which, for me, is so much more interesting and so much more fun than this kind of omnipotent villain character that he's doing now. Still chaotic, but very chaotic evil. Which is much less interesting to me.
Now he looks like a GI, right?
Yes. Not the best look on him.
Put an end to the commies.
Child race, maybe.
But this does set up something nice that they carried on for the rest of the show. They could easily have just forgotten this all happened and just completely redone the premise of the show. But the idea that for all 7 seasons, humanity is on trial.
Yes, humanity.
And that everything they do in that 7 years counts toward their defense, effectively.
I do like that they kept that.
That's a nice way to put a button on the whole thing.
Well, when you have...
Oh, these dudes.
Oh, God. When you have Delancey, you can't just not use him.
Is that an Illuminati symbol on his forehead?
Pretty close. Lieutenant Torres.
Yep. What a ridiculous thing.
Oh, God. It looks like... It kind of looks like a life vest. Like a full-body life vest. What the hell?
So this is a drug that keeps him under control, right?
Okay. What is he supposed to be right now?
I'll explain in a moment. Does he say it? So this is supposed to be post-atomic. Basically, in the Star Trek universe, World War III happened mid-21st century.
That I remember.
He's from a period after that where everything's fallen into warring factions, right? That's also when Star Trek First Contact is set.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be one of the soldiers from that period.
Got it. Okay.
And also the courtroom that he conjures is meant to be from that period as well.
Okay.
So I think that's a fairly important thing for the history of Star Trek, which is that...
I knew about World War III.
Yeah.
I was not aware that was a World War III uniform.
It's a post-World War III. It's supposed to be like... it turns into Mad Max for a few hundred years, and then humanity begins to get its shit together again.
Got it.
Around the time of, I guess, what would have been Captain Archer kind of period, although nobody was thinking about Captain Archer at this point, and the adventure of the original Enterprise. Original Enterprise.
The original.
Yeah.
Except for the original.
Mm-hmm.
By which I mean the actual spaceship.
Let's see what the starship can do. So here we go. Now we get a demonstration of what the ship can do. For me, Voyager and Deep Space Nine have much better pilots.
Yes.
It helps a lot that
Deep
the
Space
universe...
Nine is a great pilot.
It's fantastic, but it helps a lot that it has a pre-established world that's already been built up by TNG. Like, we have a sense of... We know what the uniforms are. We know what people... You know, we have a prior event that's important, that's always been wondered about, which is the Battle of Wolf 359. You know, everything's kind of already figured out.
We even have, you know, in Deep Space Nine, Picard shows up, which gives us a point of reference for Cisco. Even as a character traits, we have a point of reference. And, you know, TNG has also, through 7 seasons, ironed out a lot of the kinks that make this look so dated.
Right.
Like, they got rid of the skirts, for one.
Yeah. I wonder if that dude we just saw was meant to look like Spock.
I was just wondering that. Maybe that's just a little...
It's a little Easter egg to make the fans go, what? Is that Spock?
A very subtle little nod.
Well, also in Deep Space Nine, you've got the question of... What was I going to say? I've completely forgotten.
I'm so sorry. We were talking about how Voyager and Deep Space Nine had
pilots. Deep Space Nine started in season 5 of TNG. So they were running concurrently for 2 years.
Okay.
Then, after TNG wrapped, you had 7 seasons of Voyager. So Deep Space Nine would have finished around Voyager's season 5, I guess.
Okay.
Season 4 or 5. No, it would have been season 5 because it was 2 years offset.
Okay.
But then once Voyager ended, that's when they did Enterprise.
Okay.
So roughly through that whole period, there was 18 years of solid Star Trek production from 1987 through about 2003 or something like that. That's a lot of Star Trek.
It is. That must have been...
There's like 180 episodes of TNG, about the same for all the other shows, 170, 100 something.
Jeez. Oh, sounds glorious. Yeah, I would have just fallen asleep in those chairs.
I know. Hostiles, velocity of 9.7.
Oh no.
So all of this stuff with the chase, this is very TOS. Like, this reminds me of the Corbomite maneuver with the stupid thing. That music that goes on forever.
Yep. We're at warp 9.8.
Oh, it's going 9.8.
Yeah, but we're doing 9.5 apparently.
Yeah. Well, so also the warp scale is different and other stuff that isn't that really that important, but the warp scale got redrawn at some point. Print out message.
What?
Okay. They
We're immediately going into saucer separation?
They've got to... That's the thing, is they have to have some reason to show that that's what the new ship can do.
Yes. Thank you for telling us you're a Klingon.
Thanks for reminding us that you're a Starfleet officer.
Yep.
But the idea that they have little fax machines going... Time for saucer separation.
Yeah,
It's a bit goofy.
They had a lot of... And the thing is, they seem like such little things, like print out messages, skirts, weird reclining seats, but they really do kind of take you out of it, because it just doesn't feel settled.
Right. I mean, the shots we see of the ship.
Oh no.
Oh, the togas.
Oh, the togas.
Now, civilian clothes in the 24th century. Amazingly awful. Here we go. We're on this bridge again.
This we should have seen more of.
The battle bridge?
Yeah, I like the idea of the battle bridge. Oh, yep. Reminding us that Vulcans still exist.
They're just not speaking characters, the Vulcans. The thing is, they hadn't really established too many other aliens yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
O'Brien in a uniform, which is weird.
Now, he's just chief. I don't know if he has a name
Or
yet.
in a red uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said he hadn't had a name yet.
He was just called the transporter chief. Or he might just be an uncredited role at this point.
Pew, pew, pew.
Or that you can see the giant bulbs there on the back
Cool.
of the ship. For the marker lights and stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, so ILM built the model. I can't remember what it cost to build, but it's something on the order of about $70,000 to build this model. Because it had a steel interior armature. And because it had to be able to separate, that's the real model, that's not a close-up section.
Yeah.
That's the real model separating.
Beautiful.
That might be a different head.
Mm-hmm,
Like the top of the saucer. I think, so the top of the neck there, if you were to look at that on top, it wouldn't have a top. This might be an extra piece that they put in when they're doing the separation, because it might all have like wire connections and stuff going in through that.
You would think.
But it was an incredibly heavy model. It was so heavy, apparently it took like 6 or 8 people to move it.
Oof, that's one of the reasons they didn't do the saucer separations much.
It is one of the reasons they didn't do it all that much. It also needed its own power. So each section had to have its own power circuitry. So they had to be able to function. You couldn't put it all in the saucer and then have the lights. There wouldn't be any lights for the second bit. Also, anytime you're shooting anything in a show like this, these shots are like 3 or 4 composites. That's the motion control process, right? So you do your lighting pass, where you do the same shot just with the lights on the exterior.
Okay.
Then you do it for a matte. You do it for the matte pass, which is just literally a black and white thing, so that you can see exactly where to locate the thing, where you can locate the following shots. Then you take an elements pass, which usually means like if you have like animated things like the Bassard collectors sometimes glowing, then you'll have an interior lighting pass of all the windows.
Okay.
Those all 4 of those had to be composited, and in 1987 that was a very expensive. Each shot cost a hell of a lot of money.
I'm sure.
So that's one of the reasons you didn't see an awful lot of exterior model shots. And I think they kind of sold this to Paramount on the idea that, well, we'll make a model and we'll do a certain number of shots that we'll just keep reusing, and we won't be doing much more in the way of new effects shots. Except, of course, they did. And there was a guy called Rob Legato, who was a visual effects designer. Was it also Dan Curry? Anyway, there's a whole bunch of visual effects people who became real wizards and ran their own company called Image G, which was the visual effects company that did all of the... Basically, from about season 3 on, that's why the effects started looking better and better and better, is that Image G took it over. They got sent all of the models they needed. They got sent the Old Reliant, they got sent the Oberth class, the Klingon Bird of Prey, Warbird, all of them, they had the lot, and they could just do as many shots as they needed.
Fun. Basically,
they worked from storyboards. They weren't showing it to a director in the meantime. They were just saying, right, I will go off what the storyboard is. The only way to do it in the time available is if you just let me make the shots the way I want with my team, and we don't have to keep having this back and forth between us and the studio.
Yes.
And so long as they're happy with the results, we can keep working that way.
Yeah.
Because it's way faster on a weekly television schedule. On a movie, you have way more time. Obviously.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit of stuff about the visual effects for TNG.
Okay, alright. I knew some of that, but not all of it.
So here we are. This is where we get to the... This is supposed to be like 2070 or something. The year 2070 in our timeline.
Okay. Why did we go back to medieval clothing?
Because that is the world has fallen apart and everything's gone back to it's Mad Max world.
Okay, sure.
Think of it as like Mad Max, where everything's gotten blown up, and it's gone back to kind of some sort of weird feudal system, and you've got that's the thing is Q's judge costume. He's putting that on. That's not what the Qs normally wear.
No, of course.
But people don't realise that.
Oh wait, do they not?
No.
Oh.
I feel like sometimes the post-atomic horror series explaining it now. He knows his history.
I just find it so funny that we decided to go back to... And it's not just like the materials, medieval materials, it's actual pieces of uniform, like the funky hats and things.
Is that an umbrella without the brella?
Yes. Yes, okay. It is.
Or without the umb?
Without... Oh, very good.
There you go, there's one of his soldiers.
Okay.
Oh, now the little drug thing. That's supposed to control the soldiers.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's an early version of what became the Jem'Hadar.
That's a very good...
Because they also have the Ketracel white that they have a little tube of the white on them, right?
Yes, very good observation. I think that's a very good... Very likely.
So it's wobbly as shit, but...
It's so wobbly. Oh, it's so blurry too!
This crazy costume...
Oh, that makeup.
I think the idea is that these judges gave out like summary judgments and essentially ruled like feudal lords or something.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea.
This has a bit of a Batman 3 vibe.
Yeah. I know. You're right. Batman
Rise. Exile.
Right. You got Cillian Murphy. You choose. You are sentenced to death. By exile. It's quite a funny scene, that.
You were exiled to death.
Right. Well, you have to walk out on the ice.
Ooh, Tasha, bad decision. Bad decision.
They're into it, though. It's crowd pleaser. Another very ropey extra. Now, they clearly... Oh, dear.
There's a lot of really bold decisions being made for a pilot here.
Mm-hmm. Got a very ropey extra there for Tasha Yar's body double. Now, Tasha Yar, you've said before that you don't feel like she fit very well into the group.
I just think there's two reasons for that, and neither of them are that I didn't like her character. It was that with Tasha Yar, first of all, our cast, our main cast is 7 people, which I just think is too much.
Yeah.
I think it's way too many things going on. But my main problem is that her and Worf are kind of vying for the same spot.
Right.
Within we have 7 people. It felt like we had 7 people in 6 slots. In the main cast, and there was no real reason for Tasha and Worf to both be on the bridge. So I just think it really had to be either or.
I mean, the idea is that I think Worf was meant to be one of Yar's underlings.
Yeah, but he had such a presence, and he was clearly such a main character that I didn't buy him as an underling. And again, that's nothing against Yar. She's a great character. But they both seemed like they were very dominant personalities. Both acting in the same position.
So this is an early moment where she mentions the fact that, her colony was completely a complete disaster, completely dysfunctional, and turned into this awful hellhole, basically. And she says that it was actually Starfleet that saved her from it.
Yeah, okay.
Not sure what the sort of racial stereotype of Asian gong ringing.
Not loving
stuff.
that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of the race politics in season 1 is quite bad. I mean, there is the episode which we will not be reviewing.
No, I
Code
feel
of
like
Honor, which is full on bullshit. That's not good.
I feel like for anything season 1 we do, including the entire rest of this episode, we just need to put on a little bit of a caveat of we are aware.
Oh yeah.
We do not approve.
Nope.
But we're not going down that rabbit hole.
It's been well discussed elsewhere.
Yes.
I think is also the thing. It's been well pointed out as a problem. Actually, Code of Honor, they wouldn't show it on British TV, as I remember, so I never saw it.
All
right. Or it was shown at one point, but they said it's the first time we're ever showing this episode because it's been largely thought of as being racist. And that was in like the year 2002 or something. I was like, ooh, God, Star Trek being racist? What? And I didn't know,
Yeah.
I didn't know of this episode. I didn't know what the problem was, but yeah. So I mean, also you've got the bad treatment of the female characters here in season 1. Generally, you've got token blondes, brunette, and a redhead.
Yeah.
You've got also it seems like they've cast people with like they've got a little person here with the mustache on earlier.
Yeah.
I think what they're implying with that is that this is a post-atomic mutant.
Oh.
I think that's what they're doing.
It does feel like that. I don't like it, but it does feel like that.
Because there's also a guy in the front row here who looks like he has he has a jaw problem or something. Yeah. Like that.
I don't like some of the implications, shall we say.
It's a weird use of that. Oh, we're getting the washing machine is shaking one of our pictures.
We can tell when the neighbor is doing laundry because one of our picture frames rattles.
I'm trying to stop it. You know what we need? We need some like glue tack or something.
There we go.
I'm just gonna move it over like one tiny bit.
Okay, alright.
It's still going. Alright, never mind.
I mean, you could just take that picture frame down for the commentary.
We just have to not have any dead air. That's the thing. We just have to keep talking.
Just keep talking.
No matter what. No matter what, Annalise, we have to keep talking.
We have to keep talking.
Yeah, we have to keep talking and keep saying things. Words have to keep having to come out of my mouth. Yay!
Yay! Yes, I think moving forward, we'll just, especially with this episode, just say
we're aware of the ethical issues. Although those guns do look kind of amazing. They look like they've been made of like the armrest out of a Toyota Camry with some toilet roll attached to it. But yes, the kind of ethical issues surrounding this period, and also this is old television. This is more than 30 years old now.
Yes.
So thankfully times have changed and attitudes have changed. I don't think they would do this now.
No. Well, let's leave it at we know we don't like it.
Right.
But we're going to comment on other things in the episode.
Sure. Oh no, we're guilty.
No.
Yay! That's good news to us for some reason.
I like how he just lifts.
Right.
I like his necklace.
Not this close-up shot didn't really work too well with the kind of the shade filter on it. It's a bit weird.
So much of his actual face is phased out.
So he does everybody else's voices. He's a bit like the Terminator. He can do other people's voices.
They kind of dropped that later on. I can't think of any time he does that later.
There's the one where he does 8746341 Charlie 835. He's the one where he does the code.
True. For the most part, though, they kind of dropped that. Why? Q always has slightly blue lips.
Yes, that's a choice because John Delancey does not have that colour of lips.
Okay.
It's a makeup choice.
Okay.
I don't know why they decided that the Q needed to have purple lips.
I was just starting to worry that John Delancey had problems with oxygenating his blood.
Yeah, his lips are blue. Like he's up at a high altitude all the time.
Yes, exactly.
He's supposed to be down with the moles. Underground somewhere, but he doesn't like being on surface.
John Delancey is a mole person.
So by the time this was shot, clearly it was meant as a two-parter episode.
Yeah.
Because Farpoint Station is introduced here as the test of their abilities, right?
Yes.
Can they tell what's going on? Can they solve this mystery or whatever? So I don't think this was done with reshoots.
Oh.
I don't think this was. I have to check, but.
Oh, you mean they had already done all the Farpoint stuff, then they added this, and then Farpoint happened.
So I think what happened was that they shot this all in one, but during the development process, that's when it changed from a 1 hour pilot to a 2 hour pilot, right?
Which is worse, because that means in all the events of Farpoint, the actors were not aware of. They weren't aware of this context.
Oh no, I think they were.
Oh, okay.
I think it was by the time shooting, by the time principal photography took place.
Okay.
It would have been, yeah.
Got it.
Because also we haven't been introduced to several of our main characters yet.
Okay, so only they know.
Maybe. I'll have to check for what the history is. I actually did no research on this before we stuck it. We just stuck it on. But I do know quite a lot about the TNG background and so on, what their ideas were, and I can guess at a certain amount.
You do. I just mean that O'Brien doesn't seem to realize any of what just happened.
So this is Riker.
Riker!
Now, this was a miniature. This was a studio. This was actually a little...
Lovely.
That was actually a close-up miniature.
I forgot this part. Because, I mean, that basically implies that Riker didn't know Picard before the start of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they do seem to have so much history.
I don't think they do, no.
Interesting.
So we got Mick Fleetwood here, the head of the bandy.
They remind me of the Nox in Stargate.
Oh my god, you're right, yeah. One of whom was played by Armin Shimmerman, who was Quark.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I completely forgot that. Look at that. Oh, pre-beard Riker.
That's right. Well, as it's often said, Star Trek got good when Riker grew the beard.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree.
There's the, as Richard Jackson puts it, the not nice thing to say, which is that Star Trek got good when Gene Roddenberry died. For me, I think it's a little earlier than that, because Roddenberry was less and less involved from about season 4 on. It was other writers. It was really Michael Piller that was running it. Mm-hmm. So the less influence he had, it started getting better and better.
Well, he did have some pretty strict, quote-unquote, rules about what they could and couldn't do that were rather limiting.
And that's all been well documented. Like there are actually documentaries that I think there's, is it Chaos on the Bridge? I don't know. There's a documentary or something about. Okay, so here's our clue. You have been told not to do that. So, is there an invisible force? What's going on? Yeah, so you've got this. That's really cute, that miniature. I think that's a really nice thing. It's a sort of shame they didn't do more of those sorts of things. Let's play in the tree, children. Oh boy, here he is.
Oh boy.
And here's Crusher. Now, I think she was still going as Cheryl McFadden.
Oh, okay.
Because you might remember, she worked
in special effects.
And she did some of the puppetry for... Do you know this?
I did.
There's a production photo of her doing some of the puppetry for Hoggle.
Oh, she was
I
with
think
Hoggle.
She worked on Labyrinth.
Oh, okay. I was trying to remember if it was Dark Crystal.
Oh, maybe it was Dark Crystal. Oh, sorry. Maybe it was Dark Crystal. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I might... Sorry. Don't jump down my throat, guys. I just know that she used to work in the
special
effects world, and I think because that was her name, she went by Cheryl for that. Mm-hmm. Whenever she was interviewed, like there were interviews where she's credited as Cheryl McFadden, but I think she took Gates as an actor. I can remember my dad going, Gates, what kind of name is Gates?
Makes sense. It's a name. It is quite a pretty fabric. Oh gosh, he's just... I'm glad that they...
keep him away from the kid. Keep him away from the kid.
That was a bit creepy. Also, why is he
staring dead-eyed at Wesley Crusher? Sorry, go on.
He's just wearing solid brown.
Oh, great! Here's our first terrible civilian uniform. It looks like Crusher knitted that for him. Whatever that is.
It does. It really does.
It's like a Fremen outfit or something. So we've got our TOS style single uniform color background that's not a set at all. Clearly not a set.
Not at all.
Oh, we haven't had Geordie. Was Geordie on already?
No.
We haven't seen Geordie yet?
No.
Okay.
No? I don't think so.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with no.
We're gonna go with no, so...
Until we hear yes, we're gonna go with no.
Because the introduction of each character is important, I guess.
Yes. Until we hear yes, we're going...
Oh god, they didn't beam his head up.
Oh,
the effect only went up to like his upper lip.
Well, he is quite tall.
Yeah, true.
They assumed he was shorter.
That's cute, though.
It is cute.
I guess they do have the top for...
They have a couple little nubbins.
Well, maybe that's a piece they can put on when it comes apart.
I would think so, yeah.
It's only when they're actually separating it they have to shoot it at that angle because there's literally nothing this way, nothing on the top part.
Okay, that's a look.
Now, I'm wondering whether the reason for Lieutenant Yar being security officer was that they thought after the original series it would be too confusing to have a Klingon be security officer. Because at this point we hadn't yet seen... Undiscovered Country was made in season 5 of this.
True.
That was made in 91. This is 1987.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of wondering if that's part of what was going on.
That makes sense. I mean, the problem is just that they gave Riker all of the same responsibilities as head of security, so he still seemed... Like I said, there was just too much overlap. Excuse me.
Annalise still getting over her head cold, but she's feeling much better.
I am feeling better, but yes, I do still have the occasional sneeze, sniffle, cough.
Where's the saucer section? It's 18,000 kilometers that way.
We had to leave that one at home. Who was filming that?
You can catch up with this on TV. He's watching Paramount Plus One.
Yeah. In the previous episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Now they do that a lot in Star Trek. Famously in Voyage Home, you've got footage of the Enterprise being destroyed.
How?
And it is another question of who's filming that because it's not just security camera footage.
And this is a nice, well-framed close-up.
Right. It's like Richard says, it's got creative choices. There's a close-up and there's a wide and there's a close-up and there's a panning shot and stuff. It's fine. They clearly just used the stuff.
I like his look of what the hell have I gotten myself into?
Now, I think this could fit into reshoot theory. I think your reshoot theory might be correct because that would be very easy to just insert with, look, here's what happened.
Yep.
Just catch up.
Catch him up quick.
Because this clearly feels like something that could have been cut in.
Probation.
I'd love to see the deleted scenes from this episode. Because anything involving the events of the previous, like the idea of the star drive section arriving separately from the saucer section. Although that's kind of mean to make them try and catch up because they can't go to warp.
Yeah.
So they're just like, they're there for 3 months trying to get to this planet.
I forgot that Picard is a dick to Riker at the beginning.
Right.
That doesn't last long though, right?
No. I think it's more that it's like, I'm too busy, go away.
Well, he just told Riker that he's going to do that he has to do a manual...
Right, redocking.
Instead of just doing the automatic redocking.
As a test. Just for as a whim. I
guess. I mean, it seems like they're a little busy just to do it. Also, a test...
For yucks. Yeah. To avoid scraping the paint.
And a test that involves risk to the entire civilian crew of the Enterprise.
Sure. Like, I'm not sure what the consequences are. 0.5 meter per second, that's pretty slow. That's like walking pace.
Yeah.
Now, is he doing that purely off the visuals, or is he, he must have some sort of... Because even on a NASA spacecraft, they have like a...
Surely he's got a little screen somewhere.
Yeah. O'Brien there.
That pose of Riker's there. It's hilarious.
So there's individual elements of this episode that are very exciting. Like, this could have been an exciting sequence. All you had to say was, oh, the automation was damaged in the fight. You have to do it manually.
But instead we just have Picard being a bit of a dick.
Yeah. Now, one concept for another moment... Well, obviously, they ended up separating the saucer in Generations, and then that saucer crashes on a planet. That scenario had been sketched out as early as season 4 or 5. I think they were considering for season 6 Cliffhanger to be an episode where the Enterprise gets wrecked, basically, and the saucer crash lands on a planet, but they did not have the budget to do it. So they decided, okay, you know what? We'll save that in case maybe someday if we do a movie, we'll do it in that. And that's what they ended up doing. But somewhere in my mind, there is an amazing 2-parter later on in TNG where they crash the ship.
That sounds so much more earned.
Yeah.
Sounds so much more meaningful.
I mean, you think about like Deep Space Nine, where later on in the show, in Deep Space Nine, the station gets taken over for like half the season.
Yeah.
And that feels earned. It's like they built up to that for 5 seasons before that happened.
Yep. Why are you being such a dick, Picard? Oh.
Altair 3.
This is a test, though. Because Picard likes that he questions him.
Yeah.
Indeed.
They're so by the book. I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss the by the book thing. Even to the point of, like, you see, he was standing to attention, and then when he was given permission to speak candidly,
yes,
he relaxed his stance, right?
Yes.
It's like these are supposed to be naval vessels.
Yeah.
They have a command structure like a naval vessel. You might, Oh yeah.
That so early.
I thought that just kind of emerged because he didn't get on with Wesley.
Oh no!
But there are early episodes where he has an awkwardness with Wesley, and so he avoids kids.
Okay.
And they kind of went, oh, maybe he's just terrible with kids.
No, I forget that's apparently one of his first character traits. But. Alright, well, it seems like Picard has officially smiled, so he's over being a dick to him now.
So, he doesn't see what we see.
No.
They've established that a few times. Because I think there's one episode where we actually see LaForge's vision through the view screen. And Picard says something like, "I think I'm beginning to understand the man. Like, this is how he sees. This is so different. He doesn't actually he doesn't have what we would call normal vision. Although later on they give him normal vision in Insurrection or whatever.
Well, there's that whole thing about that episode where he has where he's high on some drug and he wants to see a real sunset and he's like, I haven't seen a sunset.
That's Insurrection, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's not that; it's that his eyes regenerated because he was on this planet that rejuvenates you.
Oh yes, okay. I forgot the detail. But I always kind of thought that's one of the reasons why him and Data are such good friends.
Yes,
because it seems like he sees more like Data than he might like another human.
You know what's really interesting? I remember an interview with LeVar Burton where he says almost exactly that.
Oh,
he says actually privately between him and Brent Spiner okay, I'll hold that for a second.
Okay.
This is Bones.
Oh!
This is his cameo.
Hello, Bones. I completely forgot. Wow, it's been a long time.
Oh, it's sweet, this.
It is.
And he's clearly
almost as bad.
Yep. Now this is really nice what he says here.
Aww. Aww. Oh, I forgot about that. Alright, this makes this
It's a lovely moment.
All sins of this episode have been forgiven.
And my very favourite Star Trek non-Enterprise ship is the Excelsior.
Yes, indeed. You were talking about LeVar Burton.
Oh yeah, let me just say one thing about that. That is the unchanged Excelsior class. So that's the Excelsior class as we see it in Search for Spock and Voyage Home.
Before it gets the gubbins.
It got redone slightly for Undiscovered Country, and when we see it briefly in Final Frontier, that's stock footage from the previous movie. So yeah, this feels like it could be a reshoot.
Oh, totally. LeVar Burton.
So LeVar Burton and Brent Spiner. So LeVar Burton was saying, they had a pet name for their characters. They called them something like the Perceivers, or something like that, because they see things absolutely objectively.
Aww.
Basically, the obviously Data's brain doesn't entertain any artifice. It doesn't, there's no any weird situation. Data knows he's seen it exactly as it is.
Yes.
Basically, same with Geordie. He's seen it exactly as it is. That's the same shot we just saw, just without the Excelsior.
Oh god, it is. Oh, I didn't notice that.
It even does this really weird yaw right here.
Ah, the fish tank. We've already established the fish tank.
There we are. And the Stargazer's there. So there's this weird situation that they're trying to figure out how they've built this starbase that's being offered to the Federation for money or for,
magical attempts to please us. Like
you're right.
Apples.
It produces things.
Lionfish. I always find it kind of concerning that
Grappler Zorn.
I've always found it kind of concerning that the individual lionfish changes throughout TNG.
Right, well, like Spot.
Well, I don't think the cat playing Spot died. Oh, there we go.
This is our moment. This is where we meet these two. Now, we've mentioned this a bunch of times, but this is clearly... So you know your Star Trek motion picture? Decker and Ilea?
Yes.
Riker and Troy?
Yes.
They're effectively the same characters.
This is one of the only times we see her project her thoughts.
Right.
They kind of did away with that.
Well, because she's only supposed to be able to do that with other Betazoids. But somehow she's able to do it with him.
Well, but she had projected to him, can you still detect my thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Like maybe she taught him how or something.
Yeah, or maybe if you get really close to someone.
I could never say goodbye. That reminds me of in Motion Picture where Ilea's like, oh, you left without saying, you left Delta without saying goodbye or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely tell that's who they wanted these characters. They even kind of have, obviously Troy has a lot more hair, but there's certain visual parallels there.
Mm-hmm. I really like the Farpoint station, the look of the base.
It does look a little Star Wars.
I feel it's not Star Wars for me. For me, it's it looks like the Frank Lloyd Wright.
Okay,
it kind of has this look of this big utopian city with it's got this kind of radial spire thing going on. Very futurist.
I meant the village to the left that I assumed we're in now.
Oh, that's super Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the kind of spire thing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that looks super kind of 60s mid-century futurist type thing. Like I used to study some of Frank Lloyd Wright's plans. Like he built this, he made this plan for a mile-high skyscraper and all kinds of mad stuff. And it seems very influenced by that kind of idea of design.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
So she's sensing stuff, right?
And he just set an arrangement with the Ferengi when they were supposed to be the main baddies.
Right, so we're name dropping the Ferengi, but we're not showing the Ferengi until 2 or 3 episodes later, right?
I am so glad they decided against having the Ferengi be the main bad.
Yeah. I mean, they show up enough.
Oh, they're just insufferable.
The thing is, they don't seem like enough of a match. Like,
no.
At least the Romulans seem like an actual match for the Federation in terms of technology, in terms of like their cunning, and they're strategically about the same. Their ships are about as fast. The only advantage they have is they have the cloaking device.
And they did away with the whips, thank God.
It's funny that each time they try and introduce a new alien species, it largely doesn't work. The only time is... Okay, so you've got Kazon.
Yeah.
A new species.
They were a total dud.
They were terrible because, again, they weren't matched to the Federation.
No.
If you'd gone straight to season 1 of Voyager and it had been the Krenin from the Year of Hell episode, they're terrifying. That's a really great villain.
Yeah.
Because they are about matched and they've got this terrifying kind of piece of technology that gives them an advantage with the ability to manipulate time. They can go back in time and prevent you. They've got the time stone effectively, right? Or Ferengi, terrible because they're just doofus. You know, they're not interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only ones that really, really worked were the Cardassians.
Yeah.
The Cardassians sustained 7 years of being the bad guys.
Personally, I think they're the best big bad that Star Trek had.
Totally
ever,
agreed.
Really.
Totally agreed. Oh, did she check him out?
Yep. No, that was a total up and down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at least it's coming from both sides at this point. You definitely see more of the civilians just wandering around.
First use of the holodeck.
Oh, lovely.
And we go into... Is this Golden Gate?
Garden?
Yeah, Golden Gate Park or somewhere, you know.
It's lovely, that's for sure. This reeks of botanical garden to me.
I can't really tell if this is a set or not.
I'm gonna say it's probably a set.
Oh, but he's not there, is he? Because the lighting on him is different.
Oh, yeah. So we might both be right. He's on set, but it's projected onto not a set.
There you go. This is not a set.
This is a botanical garden.
This could be San Francisco Arboretum or LA.
It's quite lovely, though. We should figure out where this is and go there.
I really like the use of I think this. Okay, if it's the one I think it is, it might be the same location that they use for Bajor.
Oh, okay.
Because in Bajor, you remember there's the one where Kira beams down and Sexy Vedic.
Yes, I do remember that.
Vedic
He's tending.
He's like, I'm tending the gardens here.
And she tends the gardens with him for a few weeks.
And then Kai Wynn is a total bitch.
Oh, Kai Wynn's a bitch.
She's like, you can stay as long as you want. Even a week if necessary. It's such a bitch.
That is such a beautiful passive aggressive line.
It is customary to, it's not required to tell anyone you're going to have visitors to the temple. I consider it a courtesy. Oh God!
Oh, I hate her. I hate her so much. I think of every character in Star Trek.
Ratchet.
I think in every character in Star Trek, she's the one I hate the most.
She is very hateable.
The only reason I specify in Star Trek is because Babylon 5 has a few characters that I hate more.
You don't like Bester.
I don't.
Oh, he had exobiology as an honour in his when he went to the academy.
Oh, excellent.
Data. I don't know if we ever knew what his major was.
I want to be an exozoologist. A xenozoologist. That would be what I would do. I would be the xenozoologist. Be awesome. Could work in the cetacean labs.
It's cute. Pinocchio. Oh, witticism. A human expression.
Oh, you two will become good buds. Yeah, this definitely looks like the Vedic place.
I mean, you can't do, those rays there, the crepuscular rays.
Yeah.
You can't fake that. That's a real place.
And this is like...
Looks a lot like the Genesis planet.
This is 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm half expecting to see a photon torpedo lying on the ground with Mark 6 on it.
Why are they...
The James Horner. That music playing.
Why does he suddenly have a rock?
Oh, because he wants to show how the holodeck works.
Oh. That's never happened before. But you can...
They only explained it once, and then they never bothered re-explaining it, which is the...
What was that exact explanation? Because he threw a rock at... What?
He's saying that's the wall.
Yeah, but then they walked into that.
Well, I think the idea is that the walls... So the image scrolls depending on where you are on the scene.
Okay.
Well, the problem being that if you had two of you... Whoops. If you had two of you and you went in opposite directions... Stunt double. Clearly not Brent Spiner there.
Oh, boy.
He's on a wire.
Hi, Data.
So, he's got super strength. That's it.
Yes.
That's all that matters. So the idea is that the holodeck scrolls as you're walking around. No, but if two of you got on it and went in opposite directions, pretty soon it can't scroll in both directions, can it?
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work?
Yeah. Excellent first impression. Although, not first impression, because Picard met him when he was very little.
Sure.
But we'll say first new impression.
Oh, he's had a blow dry now. It's so 80s. They're all very blow dried and kind of brill creamed, aren't they? They've got the slick back kind of do.
Low gravity gymnasium. That sounds fun.
Now that does sound pretty fun. I want to see the cetacean ops.
Yeah.
Which, yes, we have seen Lower Decks, and we know that it's in Lower Decks, which is wonderful. That was a wonderful little addition.
I love what that was. And that was the season finale.
The thing with Lower Decks is that that's the kind of thing. The Cetacean Ops was effectively a joke.
Yeah.
It was a joke that was in the blueprints of the Enterprise, the guide to the Enterprise.
They kept it.
And they actually did it. But it's been sort of well known amongst Star Trek fans for a long time.
Well, you can't see cetacean ops on a map and not ask questions.
Right. It's like, you've got whales on the Enterprise? Yeah, look at that. That's totally sort of front or right mid.
Yeah, that is. I was talking about off.
Of course, yeah, the city on the left. That does look like Mos Eisley or whatever.
Where did they film this?
This looks like a set or a redressed. You know, they did use quite a lot of real locations that they redressed. You know.
Oh, we
I mean, it's Hollywood. They had access to all kinds of stuff.
They did.
It's sort of a shame that half the frame there was covered by or just a bunch of dirt.
Oh, where are we now? Are we under?
So these are the tunnels underneath the city, right? So they're checking out the tunnels underneath, and they're trying to figure out what's going on because Troy's sensing weird stuff's going on.
She's getting all weepy.
And we had to position the camera right there.
Right up the skirt. I'm so glad they did away with... you can't even call them togas. They're just long shirts.
As Rich Evans said, Gene Roddenberry, in many ways, a very forward-thinking man. However, his attitude to sex was, yes, please.
Oh, God. It's funny. I do find it a little bit funny with Troy that she goes from wearing the uber short uniform skirt to just not wearing a uniform at all.
Right. I mean, at least it's vaguely a uniform at this point. It's got the right colours.
Yes. Well, and other members of the crew are wearing this, so this is clearly a uniform.
Right.
I've seen a couple of other women crew members running around in trousers.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I mean, it does kind of give you a sense that being a telepath or an empath like this would be absolute misery.
Yeah.
Because, if you walk past somebody in the street that's having a really shit day, you get to experience that for a second.
Yeah.
Terrible.
We really should get to see her, or at least another Beta Z, kind of have a bit of a psychotic break. Or just I refuse to work anymore. I'm hiding out in my room. Don't knock.
Now, is this the first Betazoid we see? I think it is.
Yeah, it must be. There wasn't one in the original series,
there's none in the original series, and they're not in any of the movies, as far as I remember.
Well, the original series was still trying to do the humans have low-level ESP thing.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm kind of glad that died.
And we're spending far too long in this one set of a tunnel.
Just walking back and
forth. Walking back and forth on this one... It's like, okay, you've got this, at least shoot it from a different angle.
Or
unless
like
that's a
mirror
matte
shot it, or...
Yeah. I suspect that was a matte painting.
Probably.
Oh, God. Okay, so that establishes that he doesn't like kids.
Bridge. I mean,
hello, Beverly.
Children are not allowed on the bridge. Wesley's... It's not like he's, 12.
Yeah, it's like he's 14, 15.
Yeah.
Beverly. Oh, Beverly. Your son? I thought they met when he was Babu.
Yeah.
Well, I guess children are important to Picard.
Picard completely forgot.
He's erased him from his memory.
Maybe that was he didn't
give a shit.
I'm gonna give that he was surprised that he's grown up that much. Like he assumes because he knows nothing about children that he's still like 4. Yeah. Despite the fact that it's been 14 years.
Right.
Yes. Wesley knows
He's
that.
being rude, just keeping him in the turbolift this whole time.
There we go. Another wonderful sweater.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, they have the wood paneling here.
I like the wood paneling.
I think, yeah, it's kind of... It looks a bit 60s, but it's alright.
Don't touch anything. I am glad Picard's character... Why are we shaky camming it?
I know, the handheld shots really don't work, do they?
I am glad that Picard's character softens a bit. Why are we doing POV?
It's awkward. Usually you do a POV like that because...
something weird is going to happen.
Yeah, it's an unsettling view to give someone, isn't it? Yeah, he knows everything. He just tells his new chief of medical to get out.
Okay.
They're definitely, I think people could be forgiven not knowing what Picard became later on. You could be forgiven for feeling like, I do not like this. This is weird. Where's Kirk? At least Kirk gave you a sort of... He had a little more warmth and humour about him.
Picard's coming across very cold.
Yeah.
A bit unlikable.
He's a little too kind of unflinchingly militaristic or something, Mm-hmm. So here we go. We've got a weird flying saucer creature.
Excellent.
Spaceship.
Has Eagle Moss made this?
Not really any point. You just get two Milky Bar buttons painted grey.
I mean, again though, they made the tennis ball. How?
The tennis ball. Oh God, for Zarius, yeah.
And they didn't make that?
The First Federation, yeah. From the Corbomite maneuver, the aforementioned Corbomite maneuver. Well, it's got purple light. It's not completely cheap.
I do forget that everyone is not everyone is going to know what I mean when I say the tennis ball.
Right. That's kind of our word for it.
Yes. That's not the Ferengi.
Now, they don't see a Ferengi ship until the last outpost.
Okay.
Which is, I think, episode 6 of this season. Not a good episode. We might do that one.
Oh, with the blue whips.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that one. Oh, I hate it so much.
Know. Now, I think we're discovering that we have a little bit more to say when it's not a really good episode. Because the good episodes have been gone over with a fine-tooth comb so many goddamn times.
And we've put them on, and we either don't have much to say, or we want to actually, watch and listen to it.
Right, like, we watched The Defected the other day, and that's a fairly quiet commentary for us, because it's just too good. Like, we actually just want to watch it.
We're actually reading the captions and things.
And I'm engaged with the drama. Like, that main character is so engaged. He's such an engaging character.
Oh, that's a beautiful little miniature. That was a miniature, right?
Yep. That's the same one, though.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Just from a different angle. I don't know why I didn't put that together. Probably because this is called Late Night Trek, which means you are not getting us at our cognitive best.
Speak for yourself. I don't know. I feel like we're doing okay. We're coming up with some insights into the show.
Okay, I do speak for myself.
All right, fair enough. I thought this was kind of... It's relaxed, but we're having a good old chat about Star Trek.
I know, but I didn't realize the fact that they could shoot the model from a different angle.
I know. Well, it's been a long week and you've been sick, so there you go.
It's true. I've been sick, so I'm only just starting to enter the realm of not so sick.
I love the look of the Enterprise D from that angle. That kind of like rear upwards angle. There's something about the way it looks that's really cool.
Yeah. Ooh. Bringing on some photon torpedoes. Nice. Yeah, see, that's very Star Wars.
This is looking very Mos Eisley, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And also, it's in a really... They've got this frame around it, I guess, because they had to shoot the
it's a weird choice.
The miniature was maybe a smaller miniature, and they had to kind of reduce the size of it. It looks weird.
Strange choices.
How do you know that, Data?
It's Data. Data knows things.
It reeks of them trying a bit too hard to make him see, to make him seem really uber smart.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you've got a little conflict here because Riker and Troy are still emotionally involved, and they're questioning whether they can actually, one of them can be subordinate to the other on a command structure.
Yes.
Which they do a really nice episode with later on, which we might get to, which is the wonderful lessons episode. That's where Picard learns to play the little fold-out piano.
Oh, wait, I don't remember that.
We don't watch it that often, but I really like it.
Alright, well, put it on the list.
Because it's a problem. He becomes romantically involved with a subordinate, but of course, he has to potentially order her to her death.
Yeah.
He has to order her into harm's way, and it's too much. He can't handle it.
Yes, we should definitely watch that.
That's a really good one. Which means we probably have nothing to say about it.
Well, maybe we'll just watch it anyway.
The shame of it is that they have an actor in that episode who looks strikingly similar to if Beverly Crusher had brown hair. It looks weirdly similar. Well, don't go and help him or anything.
Yeah,
just watch.
Just stand.
Watch the place burn.
Gawk for a little
Probably
bit.
a lot of casualties. In fact, I can see one. I can see one screaming on fire across the street. Please help me if anyone can see what's happening. If there were a superhuman android with super strength,
Please don't
it could possibly put me out. Ah!
Please don't just stand there and watch me do something.
See, it's things like that that are really fun to point out in these kinds of episodes because they're a bit bad.
Yeah.
Like Fraser's on that vessel. Uh-oh.
Oh, hello. Yes.
I'm sick of you.
Yeah, maybe not the time, Yar. Ugly little primate faces.
That's a good point, Q. Thank you.
What did he said?
Maybe you should be doing something about the casualties.
Yeah, really.
We're already on it, see?
Mm-hmm.
So they had the medical deck on this ship, obviously. There's a whole deck of the Saucer that was just basically a hospital.
I wish we'd seen more of that.
That would have been nice. There were designs for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nice thing is, TNG was building on earlier ships. Earlier shows. But they were really trying to redesign the aesthetic of Star Trek in a big way. Mm-hmm. Probably the biggest attempt to do that since the motion picture, I think, in '79.
I'm glad they figured out that Warp and Geordi also don't
shot,
look good in red. Oh no!
Well, how did that go?
Well, that android character was nice while he lasted. I guess we won't see any more of him. Never mind.
That's a very good sit-up. Very impressed. Do 99 more of those.
Oh gosh.
Do 99 more crunches.
Sure, Brent Spiner enjoyed that. There we go. He is a very tall man. Jesus.
He is, isn't he?
How tall is he? I feel like if we made this podcast into a drinking game, me saying something about Riker's appearance would be the trump card.
I have to finish my drink. I would just be having constantly.
That's how you get yourself hammered.
I just have to be out of the room every 5 seconds to go pee. Bye.
That's a bit of a dick move, Riker. Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Is he going to explode?
Oh no! I think the aliens are gonna have their way with him. They're gonna do so many anal probes. Oh no!
Riker's having one hell of a first week on the job. It's like, on my last ship, We did, like, paper routes.
We just went back between Starbase 34 and Starbase 36.
We brought ambassadors places. Occasionally a weird science sample.
Yeah. We were investigating gaseous anomalies on the USS Hood. Enormous satisfaction. That means they're having a great time torturing that guy to death.
Oh, God.
Ugh. It's a little bit gruesome, some of the early Star Trek.
It is.
TNG, isn't it? Or at least it suggests some odd things. Like there's some later episodes in season 1 which are, which have that problem, I think.
Indeed, indeed. Mon Capitan is the first time we get Mon Capitan.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Oh, he's so much better in later episodes. I still want to do our full Q series. This will be an episode in our Q series.
This will count as a Q series, I think.
This will be part of the Q playlist.
This isn't true Q, I think.
No, but it has to be counted.
Zero did that.
Very,
episode
very
of
good,
Q,
very
true
good.
Q.
If I want to be able to rank all the Q episodes.
Right.
That should be a little mini episode.
Mini-sode.
A mini-sode, ranking all the Q episodes.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... The middle positions. I mean, I know what probably counts as the best one. I think we've already done it. Deja Q is probably the best one.
Probably, but there are some Q Voyager episodes that I really like.
Ah, that's true, that's true. Okay. If you're including the ones from other shows.
Oh,
sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, fair enough. All Q appearances
All
of
Q.
Star Trek. But not season 2 of Picard, because it's not talking about that one.
No.
It's gonna suck, we already know.
I said all Q episodes of Star Trek.
Yeah.
That's not Star Trek.
It has Star Trek in the name, I'm just excluding it.
It's not Star Trek.
I know it's not Star Trek.
It's
The thing is, it might be Star Trek, it's not good.
It's like in
Which means
French,
I don't care.
a potato is a ground apple. It is not an apple.
That's right. Kartoffeln is in German.
It might be called a ground apple, but it's not an apple. It's like Picard, which is actually a potato.
I'm sorry I was a bit rude earlier. Oh, she had star view outside her window in this season. I always thought this was somewhere internal. Makes sense that you don't want your sick bay. Oh, something else they considered doing with designing the Enterprise. I think they wanted the bridge to be well within the saucer. Because you think about it, you don't really want your command center to be able to be taken out by one stray torpedo. You know,
no,
to just pop. You know, to just basically shoot at the top of the saucer and blow it up.
That would be a bad idea.
It would make more sense for it to be where the battle bridge is, which is deep inside the kind of the bulk of it. You want those to be in defensive locations. Put all the stupid crew quarters and stuff on the outside where they can be shot off.
Yeah, exactly. The lower decks. They're disposable. Nice little moment of establishing some history.
Oh god. And in the very next episode, what they do to those two characters.
Oh no. I hope we can be friends. Thank you. Oh, that's even worse. It's almost like I love you. Thank you. Oh.
I love you. That's nice.
I'm glad.
The most awkward things you can say.
Oh, God.
They're doing all the things that you'd expect a Star Trek show to do. What?
Sorry, I just thought of another one. That's a shame.
That's a shame! That's great. I like that.
Yeah, it is doing all of the...
We need to see the transporters. Boxes. We need to see the captains fire... You know, we need to do phase and photon torpedoes. We need to have... Is that the edge of the set? In the corner?
It might be.
They might have cropped this.
Oopsie.
That does happen from time to time.
It does. It happened loading Friends, as I was telling you earlier.
Figure it out, guys. There's obviously something here. Scan it. Scan it with everything you've got.
Do a scan.
You'll see that there's organic particles or whatever.
Oh God, these are some acting decisions happening here.
anger and hate. It's think about your experience on Death Wish 3, directed by Michael Winner. She was in Death Wish 3 and she was treated very horribly.
Oh yes, I remember. It's nasty.
That's what she's picturing right now.
You can tell.
Oh God. There is a bit in one of the Red Letter Media reviews where they talk about how Mike says, I was at a Star Trek convention once and Marina Sirtis was saying thank you to Star Trek. She became emotional. She was saying thank you to the Star Trek fans because, you know, Star Trek meant that I never had to do horrible, dirty movies anymore. Meaning like Death Wish 3 and that kind of thing, where she was horribly mistreated.
Yes, of course. Well, very glad for that, obviously.
She turned up in Stargate.
Yes. Well, you can see she had the same corridor again. You can see she had plenty of sources to channel when portraying anger there.
Oh, they've got Zorn down here, haven't they? They're doing something awful to him. Make it stop! Ah!
Who are we torturing?
It's Zorn, the guy from before.
Oh my!
They're like doing nasty things to him.
That's unnerving. This is a really bold choice for a pilot episode.
I know.
Everything, not specifically this scene, everything that's happening.
Right. And it largely isn't working. What do you think it wants? Okay, phasers. We gotta have phasers, right?
Except our phasers at this. Oh, nice that they're convenient that there's a pillow there.
USB stick. Yeah.
I was gonna say they're a car. They're a car unlock button.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's
looks
going on?
good. Now, see a model that actually lit up like that. That would be cool.
They should have done more lit up models, really.
Ooh, this is before Delancey kind of figured out his hair.
Yeah, he sort of came into his own later on.
The
short hair didn't look right.
No, he looks like he just got out of a pool.
Yeah.
It's a very. It looks like a haircut of a 12-year-old.
That's right.
So it's not good. It's possibly one of the few times we see Picard.
Look at that beefcake security guard.
Yeah.
Massive dude. Oh, hello. It's probably what? Sorry?
I
interrupted you, sorry.
No, it's okay. Oh, I was gonna say, it's probably one of the only time we see Picard basically beg.
Yes, it's a living ship.
Oh, since we're not listening because they looked exactly the same, I couldn't even tell we were in different places.
Oh, yeah. So, it's alive.
It is alive indeed.
What kind of energy beam?
Shouldn't you
need
specify?
to get very specific about these things.
I could kill it. Well, your transporters are really murder devices.
Yeah.
But we're gonna leave it. Ooh, cool! Oh, I forgot it does that.
Oh, this is very close encounters, isn't it?
It is. It basically becomes a giant space jellyfish. Oh, that's cool. Eagle Moss, make a model of that. No, I don't care how. Just make me that. That'd be an amazing display piece.
We needed to have more of this kind of thing. We needed more living space entities.
Okay, we're getting a little. We're bordering on facehugger.
Oh, I like these.
I do too.
I like the space jellyfish.
I do too. Something about the segmented arms. Okay, there we go. Yes.
Now, obviously I've seen this enough times and I know what the reveal is. Is this still surprising?
I don't remember watching this.
Really? You've never seen this before?
I'm not saying I haven't seen it. I'm saying I don't remember it.
Okay.
Those might be two different things.
But does the reveal seem like a real reveal to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, granted, we're watching it on mute, and so I haven't been able to follow the dialogue lines. So it's not an entirely fair assessment.
But the idea of this being like this ridiculously mind-bending challenge that humanity has to be able to solve in order to...
no.
Does that make sense? I think the idea is that it's testing... This is a solution that requires human empathy.
Yes. I thought you meant...
It requires you to be able to sense that there's a creature that is suffering.
Yes. Sorry, I thought you were asking if I was predicting that the UFO would turn into a jellyfish.
No, I mean, you know...
That I didn't
that
quite
as
predict.
well, but what I'm wondering is does it sustain the charge of being a challenge for the crew of the Enterprise?
Kind of.
This is a neat effect here, though.
It is. Like you said, it's a test of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find Delancey's acting uncharacteristically unsubtle.
It's very hard-edged.
Yeah, and he's saying very clearly, it's like, no, you should shoot it, do it. The goading is not as clever as I expect from Delancey or Q.
Sorry.
Oh man, that's cool.
It's very pretty. Yeah, I wanted to see more kind of living entities.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been great.
It would have been.
Because we got a few. I mean, we had the weird little I don't even know what to call it, thing that attaches itself to the Enterprise and thinks it's the Enterprise is its
Lower
mother.
Decks puts in its theme song.
Oh yeah, right.
That was a good one. We should watch that one.
Space
I like
jellyfish, space whales, space
space
creatures.
Tin Man is technically a
Tin
space
Man.
creature.
There you go. Tin Man is a living
crystalline entity.
Yes, that's more the kind of thing I was thinking.
Yeah, no, it definitely could have done with more of those. They hug.
A cuddle.
They're having a cuddle. It's so cute. And the little blue jellyfish and the little pink jellyfish went away happy. Yeah, Eagle Moss make me that. And I want to light up so I can use it as a lamp.
I think I've said this before. The sense of living space creatures have always been really fascinating to me. The idea of something that can exist in a vacuum and it's just lives and it actually lives in the vacuum of space and travels through space, feeds on asteroids or whatever. Great joy and gratitude.
Well, she really is a heck of a lot more useful in this first episode than she tends to be for most of season 1 and 2. They're clearly trying to say, this is what she does, and then she does her.
The problem is that, she's telling us what's happening, but she's not... She's there to interpret stuff that's going on, but she's not ever giving us a bit of information that we could, that is actually useful in the story.
No.
She's not saying... She's not the one that figures it out, basically.
No, they basically just used her as a Geiger counter for pain.
That's a hell of a way to put it, yeah.
Mon Capitan. I really hope the first extraterrestrial species we discover is a giant space jellyfish. That'd be amazing.
That would be interesting, yeah. I just hope it doesn't eat life by the planet load like Crystalline Entity did.
Well, that's why I said space jellyfish and not crystalline entity.
Yes. That's an older matte painting for the planet.
I like it.
It's an older looking one. Some of the the way they redid the Blu-ray for the later episodes looked really good. Mm-hmm. They kept it true to the original style, but it looks a lot better for Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm. See, even the staging here, obviously 7 main characters is too much, but Worf is just kind of there,
right,
in the back. Like, there's a redundancy there. I don't think you could have both characters as A characters. They should have if they really wanted to do that, they should have established Worf as a B character. Yeah,
true. All right.
There we have
Final thoughts on Encounter at Farpoint. What do you think?
It's, as I've said many times, there is a lot of bold decisions that were made for a pilot.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
It's very weird. It's very wacky.
Doesn't really work.
No, I think it would have worked a hell of a lot better if you removed Q.
Yeah.
From all of it. Which, don't get me wrong, I do like the book ending.
Yeah.
Of Star Trek the way they did, but I think you still could have gotten away with it if you put Q in episode 2. I think Q was way too much to try and put into the first introductory of the entire new phase of Star Trek.
Right.
Especially when you have so many other kinks that you're trying to iron out.
Mm-hmm.
That said, there was a lot more about it that I'd forgotten how much I like certain elements of it.
Sure.
The little cameo with Bones is incredibly sweet.
Yes, that is a lovely little moment, and they didn't overdo it. Didn't have to be more than that. It was only a minute.
Yeah.
It was very, and he's true to character. What's so damn troubling about not having died? It's great.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it simultaneously is not as bad as I remember it.
No. Okay. That's interesting. I don't really have much more to say about it than I've already said elsewhere in the episode. It's an interesting return to the show after they did several things right. One of which was it's not a prequel.
Yep.
Which, let's say at this point in 1987, going back before and explaining the origins, that wasn't really a popular thing to do at that point. It was really Star Wars that kicked off that whole kind of trope of doing prequels. Even though they never really work, and they always kind of introduce stuff that we didn't need. So prequels, it didn't do a prequel. It's advancing the idea. The technology can be updated. It's been about 20 years since the original series, so guess what? They can update the effects. They can update the kind of uniforms, and they've said it's 100 years later, or it's 80 however many years later. That, as I say, was the smart way to keep doing it. If only they'd kept doing that, they could have just kept jumping forward another 100 years or so and seeing where the Federation's at and what new species they've encountered and what maybe new forms of propulsion have been invented or whatever.
Yes.
All of the new stuff that's introduced, I think it's really interesting to look at this because the new stuff that gets introduced doesn't play out and doesn't turn out to be the most important stuff. I think what really turns out to be the most important is that people really grow to love the characters that they're introducing.
Yeah.
Wowing us with the fact that the ship can separate, or that we've got this holodeck technology, or that look at the effects we can do now, or any of that stuff wasn't really the core of the Next Generation. The core of the Next Generation was really that you have likable, well-defined characters that are good at solving a problem together.
Yes, they work really well together.
Sure. So essentially, that's my thoughts. Is that it's an interesting, if this were never picked up and this were the only thing that were there, I think the show that we eventually got is so wildly different to what you imagine when you watch this.
Even when you look, because we're looking at the Netflix thumbnail right now, which must be season 3, 4 of the cast.
I think this is season 4. Yeah, season 4 or 5 even. Yeah,
and seeing that contrasted with what we just watched,
right?
It's like looking at awkward teenage year photos versus like mid-20s put together photos.
Versus like when you make senior partner at the law firm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, you figured out your shit now.
Right, they're a bit more put together.
Oh, yeah. And it all fits.
Right.
It just felt like there was a lot of things that hadn't, and that's common for a pilot.
Yeah.
It took them until the third season to kind of get everything into place, but...
Right. I would say it's of the 90s Treks, it's definitely the worst pilot.
Oh, by a mile.
And it might be the worst pilot, even if you include... No, I'm not going to go that far. No.
Even if you include the cage.
No, I like the cage.
Okay.
No, I was thinking of including Discovery and Picard, but no, they're worse.
Oh.
They just look better.
They do look better, but
they're just better looking. It's just that,
Yeah.
there's loads of problems with those as well.
I don't think you can compare those. I think they're just two different...
It's a different era. It's a bit like you have your TOS era, you have your 90s era, and then you have whatever the hell is happening now, which I think you kind of just have to crowbar separate those things and pretend they're different.
The end times.
It's not the... Yeah. This will be an era of Star Trek production, just like, I don't know, maybe sometime 20 years from now, a whole group of new writers and directors will come along and make a new version of it that might be better. Or Star Trek, as in my opinion, should just end. We should just not be continuing to remake it again and again. We should be trying to make new things.
A controversial decision for a Star Trek podcast.
I know. Well, this is the thing, is we're going back and rewatching the stuff we like.
Yes, indeed. But
well, there we are. That's the end of our bumper edition of this late night Trek. We will be back at some point in due course with another episode of some description.
We will.
So, until soon, everyone.
Until soon.
Goodbye.
Nighty-night.
We need to figure out our sign-off. That's it.
I think it should be nighty-night.
Nighty-night, then.
Nighty-night.
Oh, because it's late night Trek. Yeah,
Exactly.
night.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There you guys
clearly.
go. From
Obviously.
now on, it's nighty-night.
Night.